Hello and welcome to another episode of Origin Spotlight. I am your host, B. Zelda, they, them, and I am welcoming a familiar face, a person who's kind of like the pillar of Origin Spotlight, as well as probably most, if not all, of the streams on this channel. Welcome, Adam.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, I'm the voice in the background for primetime painting, and I don't get on camera all that often, but the rest of the team's kind of busy doing a lot of other things. We got to talk about GM perks and first time GMing, so somebody inside the organization has to talk about that. So here I am to let you know how to get started.
Well, thank you very much for the privilege of seeing your face on camera. We really love it. So for anybody new joining our channel, Origins Game Fair is a fantastic tabletop gaming variety convention that is happening June 8th to 12th in Columbus, Ohio. It is just a really good convention to come together in person and play all of the games that we really haven't been able to do in such a long time. Now, I'm specifically a tabletop gamer, but I know Origins just has something for everybody, be it LARPing, war games, board games, video games,
Yeah,
movies, cosplay, panels.
yeah.
So much more. However, today we are going to talk about something a little bit more specific, and that is GM and GM perks. So, what does that mean?
Yeah, so a lot of gamers are going to hear the word GM and they're going to immediately leap to TTRPGs, right? They're going to assume we're
That's
talking
what I
about
do.
just right. Yeah, yeah. You hear GM, you think Game Master. Game Masters run tabletop RPGs, but for us, what a Game Master is just anybody who's running any event, even if it's not.
Ah,
GMs are pretty much like event runners. We sort of separate event runners. The problem is internally we have to use the word event runner to just describe companies that are running events. So
yep.
we use the term GM as a sort of all-encompassing umbrella term for anyone who's running, who's not a company themselves, who's not an exhibitor or a sponsor or a publisher, somebody like that running an event. So just an attendee who wants to be a part of Origins on a higher level, take part in something. Maybe they want to do a seminar and teach something. Maybe they want to do a workshop, teach somebody some cool craft, how to make, clay dragons or uh, cool art projects or something like that. Maybe they want to run their favorite board game because it's been out of print for 10 years and they've had it in the closet collecting dust. Maybe they just have an awesome idea for a role playing game and they want to run that scenario. Any of those are all GMs. And that's, I think, the big thing is we really want to just encourage more people to come out and be a part of Origins on that higher level. Because Origins is only as good as the events that the people that, not just the events, but the people that are involved in it, whether that's
Yes.
awesome exhibitors, awesome sponsors, awesome GMs, attendees, like just everybody being involved. That's what really makes Origins. We're here to just sort of facilitate everybody. So that's really what this is all about, is just helping people that might be nervous about trying this for the first time to get a feel for what this means. A lot of the people that have been running events for years kind of know the ropes and they're kind of comfortable. We haven't made a
Mm-hmm.
lot of changes this year, but a few tweaks. So
I
yeah,
really love that. So, for example, if folks wanted to get an idea of like what a general list looks like for events that they could run, would the very first episode of our Origin Spotlight be a really good reference to look back at? Because I believe we'd kind of gone through what that registration looks like to run
yeah,
events
yeah. So
in
that
that.
first episode
Yes.
is really all about that nitty gritty. Last week, when you were chatting with Paul went over. Paul McGraw's our events manager, and he went over the sort of logistics of logging in and getting your event submitted so that we can run it. And we've had a lot of great success this first week of event submissions. We have hundreds of events already. We're looking to have about 6,000 or even more. A typical average year is about 6,000 events for us
That's so
in
wild.
total. Um, so we had a little bit less than that last year, just because we had somewhat scaled back show because of COVID and that sort of thing. But we're trying to get back to more traditional numbers this year. So we really want to get up to that 6,000 number. And some of that's going to be involving getting new people, getting new GMs in here running cool, awesome events that they're excited to run. And, the big thing about all of this is that you don't have to be an expert. You don't have to be, somebody that knows the ins and outs of absolutely everything in a game. Like if you just love this game and want to share it with the world, or you have an interesting idea that you wanted to share with the rest of the community, this is a great opportunity to come in, set up a seminar, set up a workshop, set up a game, put it out there and see what people think about it. Have fun.
That's so
Yeah.
incredible. We know how easy that is to set up. The registration was simple. It seems like the vetting process is careful but really considerate. So I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah, and we're not trying to gatekeep on anything. Our vetting process on games is very much logistical focused, and that goes to sort of some of our perks, which we'll get into a little bit later. I think I've got a few things to talk about, but it's really about, have you really thought through what you're going to need to run this event, and how can we help you have the number of people that you need, the number of tables that you need, the number of chairs. Like, if it's your first time running a game, maybe you don't plan on setting up a tournament for, 150 people and it's just you and we might not accept
Start smaller.
that event. But, there are times when we might make suggestions like, oh, this event sounds like it might not be a everybody game. Maybe this is, maybe your game about, your game based around the thing and, horrible mutations.
Maybe your
that's a
Cthulhu
teen
game.
or an adult game and not like a kid game that people are going to, that sort of thing, just adjustments on that level. That's really what our vetting process is figuring out whether we have the space to accommodate you and what you actually need, and whether your vision of what that is fits that.
Exactly. So when the final product, when we show up for the convention, everything is set up and ideal for what everybody is putting on and trying to play.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. No, we want everybody to have just the best time at Origins, and we want our GMs to be able to provide the best experience and have a great time themselves, because GMing is really fun. I've done it myself at conventions, and I've had a blast running convention games. So, and I know
do you have like one time? Oh gosh, yeah, I've GM'd so many. Do you have like one GMing experience that has kind of topped them all?
I'm not sure that I can think offhand of a GMing experience. The best game that I ever played was played at a convention. I will say that the best game that I ever played in was played at a convention, and I wasn't even planning on going to it. A friend of mine convinced me to go. He's like, "This is one of my favorite role-playing game authors. He's going to be running the game. I gotta join in." And I'm like, "Okay, fine, we'll go and we'll play." And we went, and it was absolutely amazing. And it's funny because like now I'm friends with the guy and we're all friends, and we're in the same gaming group that meets like every other week now after meeting
I love that.
this guy at a convention. So it was amazing. And you can have that experience too by coming to Origins and running an awesome event and meet amazing new gamers from around the country and around the world, and just expand your gaming experience.
Yeah, they might become friends for life. I certainly have met some of my best friends at conventions, which, I don't know, it sounds silly, but these are people that we kind of continue to forge these friendships with because we're playing games now in online spaces where we had that one moment to meet at play. Fantastic tabletop games, board games, LARP, be it what it may. And then you take that experience and you bring it online. And, I think there's so many ways to continue to facilitate that. And that is just, again, like you said, some of the joys of playing in these spaces and GMing and participating in all of it.
Yeah.
It fills me with joy.
Me too. I love it. It's so great to be able to be a part of this and to help facilitate this for other gamers and to get that same experience. And I'm with you. Like my primary tabletop role-playing group is a online group. We're in 5 different cities in 2 countries.
Yes.
So yeah,
Oh, that's so perfect. So, do we want to start talking about some of the GM perks while we're still
sure.
talking about some really good things?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Let's start by going over sort of what a GM gets. We're going to talk. Let me pull up this graphic here. So this is our basic perk list, and it's all based around hours that you're running. So if you run 4 to 7 hours worth of a game, so that's like a standard tabletop role playing game, or if you run a
Mhm.
couple of board games, you're going to get a 1 day badge. And that gets you in for whatever day you're going to be there. So you'll submit your event. If it's approved, we'll go through the exact process of sort of the step by step experience a little bit. But 4 hours, really like 1 or 2 sessions. That's going to get you a
Yeah.
badge, and you've got the whole rest of the day to just enjoy the convention, play on other games, check out the exhibit hall, do all of that. And then it really is just almost every 4 hours that you start really jumping up to get into that for the first couple. So if you hit 8 hours, you get 2 1 day badges. You hit 12 hours, you get 3 1 day badges. Once you hit 16 hours, you get a full day show. That's all 5 days because we do have that fifth
Ooh.
open day. So once you hit there, you get
Mhm.
5 days. Last year we were at 24 hours for getting the bonus perks. But that was because we had truncated the show a little bit. We had cut off one of those days. Now that we're back to 5 days, you're at 32 hours for getting the full show badge plus 1 bonus perk. Um, so if you see it underneath there on the screen, you've got those 5 different perks. You get to pick from one of those when you hit 32 hours. So that could be a $50 food stipend. So we'll cover some of your food if you're just coming
Mhm.
in and you don't need some of these other things. We'll give you a quarter of a hotel room. Now we try with the hotel rooms to give those out to groups, especially now in the age of COVID. So we encourage you to set that up as a gaming group with 4 or more people so that you can say like, okay, we are all together, we each earned a quarter of a hotel room, we want to have a hotel room together, these 4 people.
I
And
see.
then we'll give
That's
you a
really
whole hotel
smart.
room um, out
Oh,
of our
nice.
hotel block for the 4 of you. So that's generally what we encourage people to do if they are looking to choose that hotel room option. Um, that doesn't mean that we can't accommodate those other options, but it's more difficult, and it's just easier for everybody if you can do that in sort of a group. Um, Electricity for events isn't free. We charge exhibitors for it. We have to charge you for it if you need electricity at your table to run your event. But if you hit 32 hours, we're going to give you that electrical drop for free. You can choose that electrical drop from the convention. The convention center just charges us, so we have to, pass along some of that cost.
What
Um,
traditionally needs electricity? I'm just trying to run like
there aren't a whole lot of things, but electronic games certainly need electricity. So like
okay.
we have Bridge Simulator. So Bridge Simulator, they need an electrical drop to plug in all of their computers to run all their kind of stuff. Um,
Okay.
and so things like that. Big live action sort of events. Some LARPs have used it. Um, some other sort of events like that might need to be plugged
Okay.
in for stuff.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Um, and if you hit 32 hours, you might be able to get a whole other show badge. So if you hit that 32 hours, you could get just 2 show badges if you want. And then the other option is a parking pass for the week. So if you're local and you want to drive in, we can cover your parking expenses. And we all know that in Columbus, that can get pretty steep, especially right around the convention center. So that's, you get to pick from whatever works best for you, whatever's going to give you the best Origins experience.
Those are really
For
lovely
yourself.
options. Like 32 hours, objectively, that sounds like a lot, but when you break it up, that's not at all. And to be able to acquire either, the full show badge with like food, part of a hotel, parking pass, another show badge, or get your electricity paid for, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it really works out to be a really great deal for a lot of people. And the great thing about this is that we're talking about these hours, but there are ways to sort of get multiplier bonuses depending on what you are running and for how many people you're running. So let me pull up one other
Oh,
thing here. We have this linked. This may be hard to read if you're looking at this on a phone or a smaller screen, but we have it linked in the description. So this is our multiplier chart. So what this basically is bonus hours. So you get a multiplier for an event based on the number of people that you're running for an event for and the type of event that it is. Now,
okay.
this definitely turns into bigger bonuses, quicker ways to get to that 32 hours. The real reason why we run this multiplier, because we get questions about why do we have this multiplier system in place. And the real reason why we have this is so that you can accommodate the number of people that we think, with years of experience running events, we think you need to run an event of that size. So that's why the numbers are different for different events. Like a CCG tournament requires fewer people per person than a tabletop RPG, because if I'm running a big tabletop RPG event, I need a GM for every table, right? And you can probably
Exactly.
accommodate about 8 people
Hmm.
at a tabletop RPG table for running an event. So that's where our multiplier sits. A social deduction game like Are You a Werewolf? That can seat, 10 to 15 people at a time. So that's where our multipliers are there. You need one person to run each of those circles. So that's why their multipliers are different than for a LARP or a miniature game, that sort of thing. So this is really about
Okay.
you getting the right number of people to run your event. So you can get into these higher multipliers, but if you get into these higher multipliers and you aren't saying that you need that many people for your event, we're going to want to have a
Hmm.
conversation with you about how you think you're going to be able to facilitate that extra time. If that makes sense. Like we were saying at the beginning, if you're one person saying you're going to run a CCG tournament for 128 people, well, you know, we estimate that that probably needs at least 5 people to run, maybe even more. So we're
Hmm.
going to give you that 5x multiplier. If you're saying it's just you, we might come and talk to you and say like, well,
What's
let's
going on?
let's see if you might need a few more volunteers to run that big tournament that you're looking for. But it also helps facilitate that and encourages those bigger events and those gaming groups formulating a gaming group to come and run an event. If you want to just form up with a bunch of friends and run a big tournament for an event, great. We totally want you to come and do that. Um, so individuals can sort of look through this chart themselves, but we've got some examples as well. I've got a link there to some of the examples of the math. For an individual,
Oh,
the
good.
easiest
Okay.
way to do it is to just look at that 1x multiplier, and that's sort of your target size for what we would think one person is going to run for a thing. So if you've got a role-playing game that you want to run,
Hmm.
we're expecting that you're probably going to have 4 to 8 people sitting at a table. So that's great. You get your 4 hours, you get your free badge, and you run your event. We're expecting 4 people for 4 hours, 4 to 8 people for 4 hours. And part of that is just
Yes.
space, right? When we set up an event, that's going to be a table at our event, and we're buying space for the event. So it's about sort of managing the logistics of we're giving you that space. We expect you to provide an experience for a certain number of people based on the amount of space that you need as well.
Exactly.
Um, so that's sort of part of that experience. Some of it is a little bit weighted for encouragement. We're looking to get more seminars, workshops, entertainment stuff. We have thousands of games. We have fewer of those, so we increase that multiplier a little bit to kind of help encourage some of that. Um, you know,
Ah, okay.
so yeah, so we're looking for a few things. And it also is, there's a lot of extra prep time in getting that order and additional cost involved in a lot of those things, especially workshops. So that's partially why that multiplier is where it sits, so that you can run your workshop event to kind of do that. Um, But if there are any questions about this and the multiplier and other stuff, you can always email events@gamma.org. We'll get that. We'll help walk you through that kind of stuff. But really, I mean, for the most part, it looks daunting when you think about it, but when you really, when you look, the value of this chart is that you can just don't think about the chart, think about the event that you're going to run,
Hmm.
decide how many people you think you can accommodate for that event, and then just look at the chart. And all you have to do is say, like, okay, uh, I've got a LARP and it's going to be 24 people. Okay, well, I just go down, I go over to LARP, I go down to 17 to 24, and then I just look, okay, that's a 3x multiplier, so I'm going to get 3 times the value. I've got to get 3 hours for every hour that I run that event. Um, and we expect that to be used on probably support for that event because, you got a
Yes.
LARP with 24 people. I'm going to want some NPCs there, right? Or not
Hmm.
NPCs, but I don't do as much LARPing as I do tabletop. But
The
like,
human version of them. Yeah, I'm
yeah, that
unfamiliar.
we're going to want some facilitators, some people running that event that are playing. You can bring in your friend to play, an important story character for that LARP
Hmm.
instead of having to do it some other way. You can give them that badge for the day so that they can make it in and help out.
That's so perfect. I really like that. Um, can I request like next time if you could ever jazz up this multiplier, I want it to be set up like a video game somehow where I have to like click off a couple of things. I need a couple of bells and whistles to make me
Yeah, where
feel
it
really good about it.
explodes and
Yeah. Well, because this is
sparkles.
really, really fantastic.
Yeah.
Like what
Uh,
it
uh,
offers people is so good. It's just, it is daunting when you first look at it. And the classic Excel spreadsheet can be intimidating, but then once you really figure out what you have, you plan your event first, then you look at this, and then it's like, oh, heck, I can get a 3 times multiplier on that. That's fantastic. And then that is the bonus.
Yeah, and especially the biggest thing about I think this is that when you're starting out for the first time, since we're talking about first time GM this week, and you're starting out for the first time, you know, you're probably just you, um, or maybe you and a friend. So you're probably not looking at those lower regions on the chart, those big numbers, big events with 100 people or that sort of thing. We don't encourage you to try that the first time unless you've been running, not for Origins at least. Like if you've been running those kinds of events at other conventions and it's just your first time at Origins, then great, come on in. Like you know how many people you need and we can
Yep.
talk about that. But if this is your first time running an event at any convention, like just start small. Start with something fun. Pick your favorite game, teach your favorite game to a handful of new people. That's what that 1x multiplier is. Get your free badge for the
Mm-hmm.
day and come on in and have a good time. Schedule a few and get a few days worth of badges. You can work that out for the bonuses. For if you plan on coming for a couple of days and you're going to earn a free badge, you can buy additional badges and additional days of your badge and then get the one. Um, if you get a free badge or two, even if you buy individually, you're probably going to save money buying individual day badges anyway. So um, off the full day, so it does sort of work out in your favor anyway. Looking at that,
Awesome.
yeah.
I
So
think, yeah, no matter what, like when you are looking at all of this, remember that you are showing up to have fun. Um, Conventions aren't meant to be work first unless you are working at them. But like, if this is something you want to do, we absolutely encourage it. But make sure it's something you want to enjoy doing. If you enjoy running big events like that, oh my gosh, please, because we love that kind of stuff. But if it's daunting, if it's overwhelming, and you just want to run one board game, and you know that you can still benefit from that because everybody's going to have fun that way. Do what speaks to you. I think
yeah,
that's important as well.
we get a lot of questions a lot of times from first-time GMs. Oh, what should I run? What should I come with? What should I
Aw,
play? What do you want
yeah,
me to
it's
be running?
intimidating.
Yeah, and we say the same thing to everybody when they ask us that. Play what you love, run what you love,
Hmm.
run something that you're excited to be a part of, because that's going to shine through in the experience. We're getting thousands of events, so we've got events for everybody. What we
Yes.
want is we want exciting events for everybody. And we want you to be a part of that. And we want you to be able to share what you love most about this community, about this hobby, because we love it too. And we just want you to, we're trying to just facilitate a space for that. So
I have
you're
a
going to,
really quick question.
yeah,
So let's say I've designed my own indie game and I wanted to play test it. Is that something I
absolutely.
could set up? Oh my goodness.
Absolutely. Yeah, we definitely want that. Now we have Unpub and some other like first time playtest opportunities for you to sign up for. But also if you
Awesome.
just got a game that you're playtesting and you just want to facilitate that yourself, like absolutely. Yeah, we totally want you to bring that thing that you've designed and show it off and share it with the community. Like absolutely. Yeah. Share it,
Okay,
put it
that's
in.
excellent.
Like the great thing about that event submission is that we don't strictly lock anything in. There's no like drop down menu for selecting a game. I mean, we just couldn't. There's too many games out
Oh,
there already for
mm-hmm.
us to be able to do that with games that are already in existence, let alone all of these original ideas that people are coming up with all
Yeah.
the time because we live in the golden age of board gaming, um,
Yes.
which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Um, but yeah, we totally want you to try out this new thing. If you've got a new role playing game, you've got a new board game, you got a new card game, yeah, bring it, play test it. You got some ancient game locked away that has been out of print for 30 years, bring that too. We got a whole classic game category. Like you got
Oh,
something weird that's like
so
game-esque, but
good.
not
Mm-hmm.
actually a game or but some sort of interesting experience that you want to share. Yeah, sign it up in the eclectic, whatever original. But this community is so creative, right? I can't even come up with all of the. I couldn't list all the amazing original
Mm-mm.
events that we've seen through the
Oh, I
years
love
at
that.
Virgin. So show us what you've got because you guys can make much more creative events than we can.
That's so fantastic, though. And that's part of the give and take of this community. We want to see and we want to give you the platform for you to show off all the amazing things that everybody's capable of. So sign up for these events. Like, get your name on this. Show off what amazing game you've created. Show off your dusty old classic. I'm so excited for what everybody's going to be able to bring.
Yeah. And on the flip side, if you just want to make sure that you can play some Wingspan, like bring your copy of Wingspan and set it up as an event. Like if you just want to guarantee to meet some new people and play the game, play your favorite game, do it. Like just do
Oh,
that.
I love it. Is,
That'll
is
be
that
great.
one of your favorites?
It is definitely a friend of mine's favorite. She's very into birds. I do enjoy Wingspan. I like any sort of engine builder, so I love that like crunchy, mechanicy, like, oh, I'm gonna add this bird onto this bird and
Oh,
connect this thing, and then
gosh.
this triggers off of this, and like
Uh-huh.
I love those kinds of games. That is definitely my jam. I'm a big Race for the Galaxy fan, so I love that tableau
Yeah.
building engine
I have
creation.
nothing but admiration for that, but it goes right over my head.
We've talked about this a few times about your
I
narrative
know.
focus and my crunchy number building min maxy.
Two sides of the same coin, you know?
And it's beautiful, and that's the great thing about this community, right? Is that we've got both ends and everything in between, and just getting as many people out there trying as many different things as possible. And if you've been to Origins and you've been like, oh, I really wish that Origins would have this kind of event or run this game or that sort of thing. There's one thing that we always say to people when they say that: submit the event and do it. If you want
Yes.
that event, run it. It's the old GM adage that every GMs run the games that they want to play, right? Like that's just
Exactly.
how TTRPGs work, right?
Oh, and that continues all the way to conventions.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, and that's the other thing about convention gaming is that other problem of having a difficult time finding people to do a game night with. Well, you don't have that problem at Origins. You've got a captive audience right there, ready to go. So it's like, oh, nobody in my gaming group ever wants to play X. Well, great. Bring it to Origins. You're gonna find the other 6 people in the world that are always saying the same thing about your obscure, like super
uh,
crunchy, complex game that takes 9 hours to play. And
Yes.
requires a degree
Uh,
in calculus and,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
great. Yeah, bring it. You'll find the people.
But you
Well,
six people will come together and it'll be beautiful.
yes, and we'll love it, and we'll
Yes. Oh goodness. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to talk about when it comes to GMing and GM perks?
Yeah, I mean, I think just a little bit of a timeline for people, or not exactly a timeline, but just sort of a checklist of stuff. I think a lot of people get a little bit scared about, okay, well, I'm going to sign up, but then I don't know what I'm doing because I've never done this before. I've never been to Origins. What am I going to do? So I kind of wanted to just go through a little bit of this basic timeline. We've kind of gone into event submission. So you're going to go to tabletop.events. We're going to follow those instructions that Paul laid out in the last video. We'll link that over there. You can find that right on our YouTube channel here. So you jump over there, you follow those instructions, you follow tabletop events, you submit that. Then our events team is going to take a look at that event, make sure everything looks in order. Like we said, we try not to vet too hard on content and more on just the logistics of making sure that you've put together an event that makes sense, that doesn't have some weird stuff. We might reach out to you if we've got questions or concerns about the number of people you expect or the number of tables that you think you need for that, and we'll
Mm-hmm.
just have a conversation. And then if everything's in order there, you're going to get your approval. You'll receive that all through tabletop.events. So that comes through. So you get your review, maybe a few questions, you get your approval, then you're going to be placed. So after you've been approved, we're going to let you know where in the convention you're going to be, whether you're in the convention hall, whether
Ah.
you're outside of the gaming hall. You might be, if you need a lot of space, you might be in one of those pods. We've got A, B, and C. There's like little alcoves outside of the main exhibition area with larger rooms that might accommodate your event. A lot of our RPG events are over in the Hyatt because they have a lot of space there that we set up. So we'll let you know where you're going to be. You're going to know that well ahead of time. So you're going to be able to find your space there. So you're going to get placed. And once all of your events are placed, we'll be sending you an announcement of we're going to use that chart and we're going to figure out how many hours it's looking like you're going to have based on the number of
Mm-hmm.
people that you expect to have attend your event. And we're going to award you your perk hours. And then if you hit that 32-hour plus thing, we're going to, no matter what, you're going to have to fill out a little form. We'll ask for, where your information, where stuff needs to go and just name and information and some of that specific details. And then also like letting you pick from your bonus perks if you hit that 32. So which one of those perks do you want? And if you're a big gaming group and you're hitting, 200 hours, you'll get multiple perks for every 32
Dang.
hours that you have. So if you are a gaming group and you hit 64 hours or 128 hours, you might get 2 or 4 of those perks. So you'll need to pick each one. And we've got a simple Google form to fill out for that. So you'll fill that out and
Beautiful.
send it. Um, you'll get your perk pickup details for that. We have a GM check-in area. Um,
Cool.
it in previous years, it's been in the show office. We're restructuring a little bit of our layout for some of our events, but it's probably going to be over near registration still. But we'll give you all that information once we've got all our mapping laid out. We're still in the early stages
Perfect.
of finishing up the last of the mapping for that. But you'll be getting your information for where to go for GM check-in. You show up to GM check-in. You'll get your badge. You'll get badge or badges. You'll get all your perk stuff, your vouchers, and that sort of thing for whatever you've selected for your perks. And then you just go and you run your event.
Wow. Okay.
People are going to give tickets. You're going to collect those tickets, collect information, and then when you're done, you just
Classic.
run over to the event HQ. There are 3 event HQs. We kind of talked a little bit about saying there's the gaming hall, there's
Mm-hmm.
the outer exterior part of the convention hall, and then there's the Hyatt. Each of those has their own event HQ. So whichever one of those spaces you're in, you'll go to that event HQ, turn in those tickets, And that just registers. That's just for our bookkeeping so that we know
I figured,
how
yeah.
many people are participating in what events. If you've set an upcharge for an event, say you're running a workshop or something, and you have an additional charge added to the event. If you remember, we're going pretty inclusive this year, so your badge is going to be paying for most events. Those events that would
Mm-hmm.
normally be just $2 in the past to participate in, they're now included with your badge. So
Oh,
it's
that's so
only those
nice.
those extra events with those upcharges that you're going to have to worry about. But if you've got an upcharge, we need to know how many people participated in that event so that we can get that upcharge payment out to you so you can cover those expenses that you needed with
Smart.
that
So
with that
don't
upcharge.
lose your tickets. Do
Yes,
not lose those
yes.
tickets.
Yeah, and that's it. That's your process.
Ah, that's
It's a few
nice.
steps, but it's a really in the end it's a pretty simple sequence. It's not scary. We're going to walk you through it. Our events team
There's a lot of
is
emailing, yeah, and check
yeah,
marks along the
just a lot of
ways, which
check
is
marks,
very nice.
and it all comes through tabletop events now. So the nice thing is that all those announcements are going to come through the same thing. It's all going to be updates. You can log into your tabletop.events account, check to see what your status is, and it'll update as you go along. So it really helps make this even easier, not only for us, but for you, the GMs out there as well, for everybody that's getting started. So it's a really fun time.
Ah, I love that. And like the new software, what is it called? Tabletop events?
Tabletop.events. They've
Tabletop
been
dot
around for
events. I love
quite
it.
a while, and we've now partnered with them because they can just do this really well. So we love the system, and it seems to be a good fit for our needs. And it just,
It's so good. It's user
I know
friendly.
some people
That's
have, we've had some discussions about challenges that we've experienced in previous years. And this is just us demonstrating that we're working on those issues and just we're always trying to make Origins better. That's the big thing. And that's why we've gone through a couple of transitions over the last couple of years on some of our event submissions and some of our badge registration, because we're searching for that right fit. And I think we found it here with just the right uh, way to make sure that we've got a really great experience for our attendees, for our GMs, for our volunteers, for our exhibitors, for our sponsors, for everybody that's involved, uh, all the amazing people that make Origins great. Uh, so, yeah.
That's excellent. This is going to turn out to be, I think, a fantastic convention. Everything that's going to be set up, and I really want to encourage everybody with the wildest ideas to register, sign up for your event, create it. And it's going to be marvelous. I mean, within reason, but nonetheless, I'm just so excited for what everybody is going to bring.
Hey, get wild. We've got all kinds of levels and tiers for the right audiences, and have fun. That's what we want.
Yes. Oh, that's marvelous. Is there anything else that you would like to share in relation to some of the perks, the way the setup is going to be? We've talked about the timeline.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've talked about a lot of this. I think we've covered all the big ones, so that should cover everything. If anybody has additional questions, just again email events@gamma.org. You can take a look at tabletop.events. There's instructions there for that sort of thing. Linked here in the description is the Perk Hours multiplier, so you can take a look at that chart there and see how it's going to go. But again, like, if you don't want to worry about that, you just have a fun event that you want to run, like, the easiest thing to know is if you have what kind of looks like a standard unit of gamers for whatever type of game that you play, you're probably going to get 1-for-1 on your hours. So you can just think of it that way. And if you find out that you get more, then great. Your first
Right?
time, some people, they want to game the system, they want to work it
Yeah.
out and do it. They want to make running games its own game onto itself where they
Yes.
can get
Oh,
the most
mm-hmm.
perks. And it's like, great, you want to do that? Do that. That's part of part of the benefit of this system is that you get to sort of game it a little bit. But if that's
I
not your
love that.
thing and you just want to run a fun event, it's really pretty straightforward if you're just you trying to run your event that you love. As
Mm-hmm.
long as you get 4 hours out of that, you're going to get a badge. And that's sort of the big thing. So if your game only takes an hour, maybe you run it a couple of times, maybe you do a teach, if you want to run that a few times right in a row for different groups of people, that's also fine. Maybe you set it for 2 hours so you can teach them how to play and then run the game for an hour.
Yeah.
And then you just run it twice and you get your badge. Like, pretty
There's
simple.
so many ways to do it. Yeah, that's so perfect. 4 hours, very achievable. Think about all the time you've already been playing games. So that's just going to make it nice and simple.
Yeah, and you get that, and that badge gives you all day. The exhibit hall closes at 6, but that doesn't mean that the convention closes at 6, right? So you can set your
Yes.
event for 7 o'clock. You can spend your time in the exhibit hall. You can sign up for a couple of other events. You can have even if you're only coming in for the day, you know, that's it goes till midnight. So we roll into the next day for events, and you can get a lot of convention experience just with that one day. So
Mm-hmm. And while this is not advised, sleep is also optional at conventions. So, you can keep playing games all night.
yes, we would recommend that you actually do get a few hours of sleep, take a
Just a
shower,
couple.
eat some
Yes.
food, right? Eat,
Deodorant.
shower,
Mm-hmm.
sleep. These are very important
Yes.
things. Get some of that through
Yeah.
your time. You can't run on caffeine for 5 days straight. Um, please.
Just sounds like a challenge. But no, please take care of yourselves.
Absolutely.
All
But we
right.
want you to have fun,
Well,
whatever that is.
yes. Whatever that looks like for you.
So
As
we're
we
pretty
are,
early.
go
Yeah.
ahead.
Did you have do you have anything more that you wanted to ask me?
Yeah. So now that we're at the end, I've always wanted to do like one of those like rapid fire questions where I could just ask whoever I'm speaking to a series of just convention based questions to kind of get a better idea of, what are you like at a convention? What do you show up? Do you have cargo shorts and a suitcase? Are you baseball cap backwards with like a Hawaiian shirt? Do you have dice in all of your pockets? So I just love in chat. Can't run on caffeine for 5 days straight. Pfft, challenge accepted. Mm-hmm.
All right,
Mm-hmm.
Andrew. All right. We'll see you on Sunday. See how you feel.
All right, Adam. Are you ready?
Okay.
We're gonna do I'm gonna set up a timer for a minute.
Oh.
And yeah, we're gonna see how fast, because I want quick answers too. I don't want you to think too long about this.
Ooh, okay. All right.
All right. So Origins quick rapid fire question. Ready? And where was your first convention?
It was in Indianapolis. No, it was not. It was in Traverse City. I went to Cherry Capital Con in Traverse City. That was my first convention.
I love that. Favorite board game?
Tyrants of the Underdark?
Take it. What is your go-to color for a token or a meeple?
Green. Maybe black, but green. Yeah.
What is best footwear for conventions?
Tennis shoes.
What is one thing you always buy when you go to a convention?
A badge? Usually, something new, some new release game.
Okay.
I want to get something.
Would you rather play a 10-hour LARP or a 10-hour board game?
10-hour LARP. I think the board game could get grueling. You gotta stand and walk around.
Do you decorate your lanyard or your badge?
Not usually, no.
Fanny pack, suitcase, or backpack?
Rolling bag. I have a rolling bag that I take, and it is awesome.
Yes.
And I love it.
You pack all your games in there?
Everything. Food, snacks, chocolate-covered coconut almonds.
Last two questions. What do you sustain yourself on? Snacks or one meal? I didn't write
Snacks.
that one.
I am very much the snacker guy. I just mentioned almonds covered in coconut and chocolate. So good.
All right, last question. If you could only drink one thing at a convention, what would you choose? Water or anything with caffeine?
Water. Absolutely water. I know, like, I've been I've been to enough now that it's like, no, I need hydration.
Gotta stay hydrated.
Oh, it phew, I'm I don't drink that much caffeine. I'm the weird person. That
That's so odd. Good job for your body, though.
I have I drink like a caffeinated beverage like maybe 4 times a week.
Damn. Your heart must thank you.
But when I was like 22, I was drinking like 3 or 4 energy drinks a day, and my heart was not thanking me then,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
stopped, and then I felt a lot better. So I've kept that number kind of down. So yeah,
Oh,
it's either
goodness.
I don't drink it. I don't like coffee, so that's the big thing.
That's one of the main things you've just cut out of there. You don't do
Yeah,
tea?
I'll do a chai, or I will
Okay.
do usually Dr. Pepper. It's my go-to caffeine beverage these days. Though every once in a while, still an energy drink, but
I love it.
just
Well,
one.
thank you so much.
Thank you, Lee. This was
Yeah.
that was fun to do the rapid fire. Yeah,
Yes. Went a little bit over a minute, but that's fair. I had some questions that I had to ask, and I feel like
fair
I've learned
enough.
more about you now.
Yeah, I'm pretty simple with the convention. I'm the like efficiency guy because I am we were talking about this in the group, and our staff runs the gamut on convention experience from some members of our team, like, they never do any events. They go to the exhibit hall and they walk around that, and then they
Oh,
play
wow.
games with their friends, and they
Huh.
just don't do the event stuff. They'll do the boardroom and that sort of thing, and get which is an awesome experience and included in the badge now, so you don't have to pay extra to get
Nice.
your boardroom ribbon. A little preview for the future. For some of our other announcements, but I'm the other side. I'm the guy that overbooks everything. Like,
Yes.
I'm the guy running through the convention hall because I have booked something back to back and they're on the other side. Like, I'm running from the Hyatt
Gotta go.
it's like, yeah, it's just, no. I've got 4 role-playing games in a in a day, or like, I got a mega game that runs for 8 hours, and then like a 1 hour break for dinner, and then I've got another 4 hour role-playing game after that. Yeah.
I love it.
And then I'll
That's
play
how I like to do my
PS4.
conventions. Yes. And you find somebody else is playing like some kind of board game in their hotel room, like, all right, so I could stay up till 3. I can get like 4 hours of sleep and then eat a granola bar and I'm good to go.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, I'm the super overbooked guy, so I just load up with everything as much as I can, and I'll invariably have an event that I will not make it to because I have put too much, and then it's like, okay, I just need to crash, and
Yep. Yep.
and I fail.
Oh goodness. But that's an experience in itself and that's so much fun.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. Once again, Adam, thank you so much for joining us and thank you for talking about the GM experience, what kind of perks are available, what that timeline is going to look like, and just how much fun anybody can experience or anybody can look forward to experiencing after you've signed up and just received everything that is going to be perfect. All of the perks. You're going to get amazing players. It's going to be at an amazing place. You're going to get the table that you want. Everything is going to be curated and set up for what you need. And this convention is going to be marvelous. So for those who forgot, Origins Game Fair is going to be in Columbus, Ohio on June 8th to 12th. Don't forget to get your badge when those are available. So, Adam, if folks have either any questions to send to you, or if they just want to follow you on any social media, how would they do so? If you want.
Yeah, I mean, I am pretty hidden away on a lot of things, but you can send questions to me either through marketing@gamma.org, or my own Gamma email, which is just adam.ziegler, if you can see that, Ziegler @gamma.org. Yeah, we kind of keep it pretty simple here for emailing things. So if you've got questions, I normally handle a lot of the like advertising, building the site book, that kind of stuff. But so today I'm just sort of helping out. I'm on the events team. I'm just on sort of cross between the events and communications team because I handle a lot of different aspects of things
You're
on
putting
that
on a couple
creative
of different
side.
hats.
Yeah, I keep
Hmm.
switching hats. If it's the creative stuff tends to hit my desk if it's graphics or video or advertising or that kind of thing. But yeah, if people have questions, that's a great way to reach me. The main question for these kinds of things is going to be the events at gamma.org, though. So send it there. It'll either get to Paul or Cynthia or might pass over to someone else on the team if we absolutely need to. But yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. If folks are interested, you can find me on Twitter as at @B_Zelda. But what I encourage you most to do is give this channel a like, a subscribe. Make sure you get notified when we are going live, which is every Tuesday at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Origin Spotlight will be back next week with some new topics and some new people to chat with. So until then, thank you everybody for tuning in and have a great day.